Boom. So like I said, we're going to be doing a two trade recaps, one losing trade on SPY, one winning trade on Meta, still green on the day. But pretty much what I was looking for with this SPY, let me double check what time I got filled. Let's see, 10:01 right here. Okay, so with this SPY, what I was looking at was this pivot high to pivot low on the fibs, right? And I was watching the retracements. If we break it down to a 1 minute time frame, we can see that this was the candle that ended up rejecting off the 61.8. Therefore, that was my entry to get short. Where was my stop loss? If we started to show strength right above the 61.8. So on this trade, I was out on this candle right here, 10:04, for a negative $21 loss per contract. So because we had a candle close above the 61.8, again, because I religiously trade fibs, as soon as we start trading on the opposite side and showing strength, that invalidates my trade idea. Therefore, I should be out of the trade right then and there. So this was the candle I got out on right here. And if I would have continued to hold the position past where I said where my stop loss was, the loss just would have got larger and larger and larger. I probably would have lost 20, 30 more dollars per contract based off of this move right here. So before you enter the trade, again, why I love sniper entries is because your risk is always very limited, right? So that was the first losing trade, or the first trade, which was a loser. So that was the first trade, plain and simple. Now the banger of the day was Meta, right? And I want to go over this Meta with you guys because I missed two trades on Meta before we got the third one, right? So I want you guys to keep this in mind as we go over this. I was looking at Meta, and at this 9:33 candle, I was literally about to buy calls. I shit you not. I was about to click the buy button, and then my Wi-Fi went out. My whole ThinkorSwim froze. Everything went out, right? I've been having Wi-Fi issues these last couple of days. That had me a little mad because within 2 minutes, those contracts were up. I think it was $100 a piece just by here, right? So I ended up missing this trade right here. Why was I looking at that? Pivot low, pivot high, 50% retracement. We smacked it and then started pushing right back up in price. So from here to here, a little over $100 per contract profit that would have been. I missed it, right? So keep that in mind. That's one missed trade. The second missed trade on this Meta, if we zoom out to the weekly, this was part of my weekly watch list that I upload every single Sunday on my YouTube channel, right? I told everybody this week my main reject on Meta is 271.17. Why is that? If we take the all-time high at 384.33 all the way down to the low of 88.09, we have the 50% and the 61.8%. This lets us know that these are possible rejects to keep on watch. Now, based off of this large move to the upside, it increases the likelihood that price is going to reject. Now, it didn't hit the level, and I wasn't paying attention to Meta at this time, but I saw it right after it started to come back down. So had I been paying attention to Meta, this actually validated an entry before it even hit the fib, just because that is a massive move from 265 all the way up to 271 within 15 minutes with no pullback. That's a very large move, which could lead to an entry right before the fib, and then the stop loss would have been right above the area. So that was the second setup that I missed on Meta. So two missed trades in a row, right? On Meta. Some people would be really pissed off. Some people might go and try to force a trade or whatever it may be. But missing trades, that's going to happen, right? We don't want to have FOMO over missed trades. Now, yeah, it would have been amazing if I caught this one right here. Yeah, it would have been amazing if I caught this one right here as well. But we missed it. That happens, right? So what I was watching, the trade that we ended up taking, what I was watching was if Meta could come back up and test this fit, right? And ideally break through and reclaim the opposite side, because it didn't do it here. Now, because this is a weekly fib, I had a feeling that it was going to try to reject it again if price were able to get up there. So again, using a 1 minute time frame, like always, watching this 1 minute right here, price started to break through the fib. This was a solid green candle, and then out of nowhere on the 1 minute time frame, I saw price quickly spike right back down, and then very heavy volume. So what is that telling me? That there was a very large order that got filled up here for a sell. If you guys were, I don't know if anybody in here was watching Meta at this time on a 1 minute time frame, but it was, I kid you not, we had a green candle like this, and then within like a split second, it was right back down here with very heavy volume. So that told me that there were sellers in this area, and more than likely, price wanted to start to pull to the downside. Right. So because of that, that gave me the confirmation to get in this trade. And as we started breaking below this 61.8, that is when we ended up getting short. Because of that, piecing everything together, the stop loss on this trade, I said, is if we start showing strength above this high. I was risking around $25, $30 per contract. Walked everybody through this trade. I literally said, I have the Meta 270 puts pulled up. I'm watching for a reject up here. We're coming up to a key area. And then as you can see, very limited risk. This thing dropped all the way down into 269.44, giving, what is that, $1.70 move to the downside roughly. Obviously taking profits on the way down. And then the ultimate price target was VWAP, which we pretty much bounced right off of. But yeah, this was a beautiful trade, everybody. Absolutely beautiful trade. And that was the whole reasoning behind it. The 5 minutes started to look super good as it started to come back down. Very heavy volume on it. Fantastic trade. But what I want you guys to get out of this webinar was we can take losing trades and we can miss trades. Again, took one losing trade and missed 2 trades, right? That could have been profitable, 2 of them, and still stuck to the plan and waited for the right entry and then executed. If it was another loss, I would have called it a day. For me, if I take 2 losing trades in a row, I walk away. That's it. But like I always say, wait for that A+ setup. Wait for the market to come to you. If Meta never came up and never gave me that entry on the 1 minute time frame, I wouldn't have taken another trade. I would have called it a day. So that's why it's super important to wait for the market to come to you and don't force trades.